Hi guys, this is Melanie Pierce with Royal LePage Shelter here in London, and I'm here to interview um, a, 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 a longtime friend. I can't remember how long we've known each other, um, and a fellow Royal LePage Writers Group person. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Michael, and tell me where you work and what your bread and butter is. So what, commercial, residential, all of that above.
Hi, Mel. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Sommer at Royal LePage NRC Realty Compass Estates, and I work in the beautiful city of St. Catharines, Ontario, and I serve primarily St. Catharines, but also the surrounding area. I do quite a lot of business in Fonthill, Fenwick, and Welland, and my bread and butter, so to speak, is residential resale. So
Yeah.
I help you sell your home and help you buy a new home and I dabble a little bit in commercial, but not really. I
Yeah, some people do. It's not something I feel comfortable with, but you know, we all do.
store and you want to lease a storefront, something like that, I can help you out. But
Yeah, I
if
could
it's
do that.
bigger commercial building, then I definitely have lots of colleagues I can refer that business out to.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too. I
get
think
the
that's
experts involved, that's a lot better. So,
100%. It's a total different animal, isn't it? Like
oh,
it's
completely.
doesn't work the same whatsoever. Like they
Yes,
might as well be night and day in my opinion. But maybe I don't know.
exactly. I love the
How long you been
residential.
selling real estate?
This is my ninth year. So in August, it will officially be 9 full years. So I start my 10th year
You're
in real
practically
estate
a
in August.
baby. You're
I know,
practically a baby, Michael.
practically. It's my third career and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I like to help people. So this is falls directly in line with that. I probably more often than not tell people that they shouldn't buy or shouldn't sell.
Right.
But
I think
okay.
we are one of the only kind of sales jobs that a lot of times we're doing the opposite of what you might think we're doing. Like if I'm walking around with a buyer and I'm looking at a renovation and I think it's being done so poorly, like what had been done to the house, I will talk them out of it. And so will you and many others. So it works opposite
Exactly.
than most
So
sales jobs.
yeah, just have to be honest. I treat everybody as if they're either myself, like, is this a decision that would be right for me?
Mhm.
Or depending on the demographic of the person, I deal with a lot of elderly people, I find. I treat them as if they were my mom. So
Aw.
they're not, no offense to anyone here, they're not completely stupid or dumb, but they don't always make the right decisions. So I try to walk them
Yeah.
through the process and help them out and maybe open their eyes to a few things that they're not seeing, and then help them make the right decision based on that.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of those people haven't exchanged real estate for ages. And
oh, yeah,
so, what they know
30
is,
plus years, right?
yeah,
It's, yeah. So,
they're just missing a whole lot of information. Yeah. What do you contribute your success to? This is a more recent question, but what I'm looking for is, did you get your business up and running by doing online leads or being out in the community, or what was your thing?
Buffini.
Buffini.
Yeah, notes, calls, and Popeyes.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. Never too
That's what
busy.
got my business started. And then I always believed in giving back to the community. So I'm a proud Rotarian and I was just past president last year. I'm foundations chair this year. I was foundations chair before I became president. And we do a lot of community volunteer work through Rotary. And I'm also a volunteer umpire boat driver because as people may know, in St. Catharines, we have a world-class rowing course with many rowing events throughout
Yeah,
the year.
yeah.
And I had a nephew he's 32 now. He's a captain at Air Canada, but back in his high school days, he was a rower, and that's about as long as I've been volunteering on the rowing course. And it's just a nice way to get involved with the community,
Yeah.
see people outside of work, and and I probably want to say I attribute some of my business. This sounds silly, but just to like even walking my dog, just being present in your community, in your neighborhood, and stopping to have little conversations, and you never know where
Yeah.
that takes,
You've got
right?
a really nice little pocket there.
Yes.
I'm solid jelly, solid jelly. Be lucky if I don't move there and start forcing all the neighbors to
Hey,
live
I'm
with me
listing a
instead. It's
beautiful little
beautiful.
home right in my neighborhood. They just started the probate process, so it's going to take a little while, but
Oh, I'll think about it then.
I can show it
I've
to you
got
next time
time.
you're down.
So, if you were to look back in, like, since you've been a real estate agent, is there any um, deals or moments that you go, oh my goodness, that's such a good story?
Well, they all have a good story, I think. I mean, most of the
Or an
time.
embarrassing story or something ridiculous or, what do you
We're
got?
digging here, eh? Digging for a little bit of uh
Yeah.
no, I mean, look, the sometimes you get a bad one, right? But you kind of learn to stay away from them. I think just with
Definitely.
experience, kind of been there, seen that, done that, didn't like it. So next time you just politely decline to take the listing or figure out a way to get out of it. And
Yeah.
sometimes they insist that they still want to work with you.
Even after you told them, I'm
You're
really
like, oh,
super
here we
not
go again.
interested.
But
That's the funny part.
every situation is a little bit different. I think most of the time there's a happy ending, and occasionally there's not. And
Yeah.
it's usually based on expectations and price. So I just
Yeah.
find if you're honest right from the beginning, then there aren't any ugly surprises. And I think if I think of any stories, it was when I was a newer agent where maybe um, I wasn't as forthcoming. I should have maybe spoken up a little sooner than I did, and that's just part of building experience, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Tell
true.
like
Because at first
two,
you can be a little bit more timid about exactly your own opinions about a
yes,
situation or a
yeah.
house. And you go, well, if they want it, I should probably shut up. But in reality, um, a lot of times they're looking for that information and you got to be ready to give it, I think.
I mean, if you want a story, there was one time I went to list a home. If I recall correctly, we had talked the whole lead up to the listing. We were going to list it for 599, and it was an older seller, and she knew everything better than I did. But you know, she was a nice lady. And then I went to get the listing signed, and I had left the price empty, but we had always spoken about 599. And there I am at her dining room table, and she insists that we list it for 699. Well, I mean, my heart just sank. I was like, this is not what we spoke about. It's a
Yeah.
hundred thousand dollars more. That's a big jump. But I was new, I was naive, and I took the listing. And then it took two more agents after me with
Yeah.
numerous productions. I can't recall the final price that it sold for because at that time
Yeah.
I
I'm,
didn't I
yeah.
didn't even look it up, but I know that it was in the 500 somewhere. And so now I just learned. I
Yeah.
would have I, the Michael today would have politely declined the listing
Yeah.
at that time.
And
Um,
sadly, she probably sold for less than what she should have sold for because she allowed that to happen.
exactly.
It's kind of
Exactly.
amazing to me. Like, you said you're in 9 years. I'm in 23 years. And I have to say, it's always interesting to me when I can prove my knowledge, give my knowledge to them, and people go, it's my house, I'm going to sell it for what I want. And I go, well, what you want is not going to happen for another 2 years. So, I mean, we can sell it for
Exactly.
that
So,
in 2 years' time, but not now. Like, and it's always shocking to me when people don't take my advice and I go, but I'm the professional. You're trying to say,
no, this is
but
what I do
whatever.
every day. These are the conversations I have every day.
Every day, 100%.
Yes.
So I'm gonna switch. switch topics. Tell me about your family. I already know about your family, but I'm gonna have you introduce your people
For
because
the
you keep on
viewers out
reaching down
there,
and you're petting George right now. I know.
well, you don't know what's going on
I can
behind the
see your
scenes here.
hand cat down.
Underneath the table, I've got a dog that wants to be part of this interview who brought me his toy. And as we're having this interview, he's made me hold on to it as he's gnawing away on it.
He's such a sweetheart.
He really is. He's a cutie.
He's a cutie.
Yeah, no, honestly, married since 2007, July 13th, 2007.
Hmm.
Um, and with one child who's 15 years old, and they keep me busy, both of them. And I enjoy my days because I typically tend to work from home. So Marianne being a high school teacher and Merrick being in grade 10, they're gone, all day long. And that gives me the house to myself, which is nice because it's nice and quiet and tidy and gives me a nice place to work.
Hmm.
And then, of course, George, my dog, who's 11 months old, he gets to go on many walks, and him and I really bond.
He's a lovely dog. He truthfully is.
Yes.
I love him, but I love your whole family. So there it is.
So
Do you
they
have,
keep me in line. They keep me in line, and with Marianne being a teacher, she has a very regimented schedule. Whereas, of course, as you know, in real estate, I mean, we're all over
well,
the place. Half the time, I don't even know what weekday it is. So,
yeah, true.
so
Me
it's kind of
too.
the yin to my yang, right?
Yeah,
We keep each
yeah,
other in line. So,
yeah. She's awesome. I love her. Um, do you have a favorite place on earth? And one place, just one place.
oh my goodness, I love being in the mountains.
Okay.
Like on top of a mountain somewhere, I'm an avid skier. So,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
the roots are from Switzerland. I mean, I was born and raised in Switzerland. So if it's somewhere in the Alps or if it's somewhere in the Rockies or
yeah.
doing a trek in Ecuador, if I can get up on top of a mountain, I would honestly say that's my happy place.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. And
Maybe
a
it's
lot
the
of
thin
people,
air. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, no, that's perfect. That's awesome.
So,
Um, okay. If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or dead, who would that be?
I was thinking about this because I knew this question was coming. And, I don't know. I really don't know. There isn't just one person. It's a very challenging question. Um, I always
Or
like to
one
live in the
place?
moment.
Oh no, it is one person. I already did the place. So it's one
Yeah,
person.
yeah. The person I know, it's
It would be more than one?
no, this is a maybe a silly answer because it's not it's to whomever I'm with at the time. That's my favorite person
Oh,
to
that's
have a
cool.
meal with. And
That tells me a lot. So you're very good at being in the moment. That tells me that
that's
right
what
there.
that's the objective that I'm trying to achieve, and not to wish that I was with somebody else, sometimes the people that you think you might want to meet, when you meet them, they may let you down. So I don't
I
really
always,
have
yeah. I always call
anyone.
it the looking behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz um, situation when they look behind the curtain and there's just this little unorganized, crazy guy, and you thought
Right.
he was the all, and that's true. Sometimes when you look behind the curtain, you get disappointed. Sometimes
Yes,
in
yeah.
places and people. So yeah.
Right. And in one of my previous lives, I did work in hospitality and I did work at the Four Seasons Hotel in Toronto. And I met many, many so-called celebrities during the film festival. And, some were absolutely incredible and others were people that I never want to meet again.
You're
So,
like, no,
um,
thank you.
yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. I
Yep.
haven't met that many famous people, but I'm not particularly like I don't go to places that I would and I don't seek that out, so it doesn't happen
Oh, same here.
very
But
often.
I did touch, this is a silly story, but I did touch one of my favorite musicians. It was Mick Jagger came down to the front desk all on his own. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I love the Rolling Stones. And I
Yeah.
had switched a shift because I knew they were in the hotel, and I wanted to work the overnight shift because it would give me hopefully an opportunity to meet the Rolling Stones. And Mick came down to the front desk and he asked if I could exchange a 100 US dollars into Canadian currency. And when I gave him the money, I brushed my hand against his hand. Because I want to say I touched Mick Jagger.
That is awesome.
I know that's kind of like my celebrity story because I just love the Rolling Stones. I love their music, and I have him stand like right across the front desk for me. I was like, I didn't have an opportunity to shake his hand or anything like that, but I was like,
But you
how do
touched
I
Mick
touch this
Jagger.
guy? I
You touched Mick Jagger. That's worth it.
touched
I
Mick
like it.
Jagger. Yeah. And
I would have touched him too
Keith
if I was
Richards
there.
called me sweetheart.
He
He
called
was
you
walking
sweetheart.
across he was walking across the lobby with an entourage of people, and he had on black leather pants and a white shirt, unbuttoned, and he looked over at I mean, it wasn't just myself at the front desk, it was some of my colleagues as well, and he said, "Oi, sweetheart."
Ah, this is
He
so
walks to
cool.
the elevator, so that's kind
So
of my
European. You know, so
But would
European.
I want
That's
to
so
have dinner with
awesome.
them? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
So, what are your favorite pastimes? Hobby, sport, whatever.
Oh my goodness. I'm a people person, so I love spending time with my friends and family. Um, I love being outdoors. I really enjoy skiing in the winter. I enjoy motorcycling in the summer. I enjoy going on hikes and treks and being out in nature. So really, that's how I like to spend my spare time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So this one sometimes can be difficult for people. I know it's difficult for me, to be honest with you. Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Uh,
I'm afraid of the one that you laughed about. I was like,
no,
whatever
no,
just went through your head is making me nervous.
Um, I don't know, happy, um, outgoing,
Mhm.
and 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 I want to say fair. Like I'm a fair guy. If you deal with me, you know what you get. I
Yeah,
treat people fairly. I
yeah,
don't take advantage of people. Um,
yeah. I would say you're a very
yeah,
kind person. You try to be very kind to people.
I do. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Um, so what nonprofit do you support, or nonprofits if you support more than one?
So personally, Shelter Foundation, right through Royal LePage. Um, I really had to narrow it down. I ended up kind of supporting too many charities, like
Yeah, that can
Canadian
happen.
National Institute for the Blind and Sick Kids Hospital. I mean, and then you give, $50 here, $100 here, and then it all adds up. And then you're like, okay, what let's maybe give a little bit more, but make it actually have an impact. So that's why I decided that I give what's it called from my commissions.
Oh, the the
So
commission
it's through Royal
donation.
LePage, right? So
Yeah.
it's $100 on every real estate transaction goes directly to Shelter Foundation, and then I participate. This is going to be my fourth trek. I always thought three, and I'll be done. And then they announced the location. I'm like, okay, one
Oh,
more, Cambodia. Who can,
they
you know?
announced the location for this one, and I truthfully, this is the first one that I've had a really serious problem in the fact that I went, no, I just as soon stay on the motorcycle ones. I'm so
Yeah. So
crushed
after
that
the
I
last
didn't
motor,
sign up, but
so the motorcycle ones are challenging for me because it's always during the summertime,
yeah, that's
and
true.
Merrick still being in high school and Marianne being a high school teacher, those are the
That's
two
gonna be
months
very,
that I
yeah,
really have my family. So I can't be gone. I don't want to be gone for 3 weeks,
yeah,
or
which
two
we are.
weeks.
Yeah.
As
But
incredible as
Cambodia is going to be
that's not.
amazing. Like I'm solidly jealous of anyone who's
Yeah, but
doing the
Cambodia
Cambodia
in
trip.
October. that's the perfect time to go away. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's in school, everybody's busy at home. Um, this year in real estate, there's not much happening anyway.
We're a
So
little slower, yeah. We're a
we're a
little
little bit
slower.
slow.
I think
Exactly. No,
if I
but
think of a few negative issues get out of the way and we're going to be ripping it up again, to be honest with you, because I just have some people who are on hold because of the instability of the time. And I think that
exactly.
took a lot of people. So yeah. So you go
Yeah.
to Colombia, no, you go to Cambodia. When do you do that? What's the dates?
In October. In
Okay.
October. So middle of October.
Okay.
And I'm going
So if
to the
anybody
hotel.
wants to donate to you, what we'll do is we'll put the link below.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes, please. Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, 80% of the money that we raise goes to our local shelter. My shelter is Jillian's Place right here in St. Catharines. And the other 20% goes to Shelter Foundation, and it goes towards educational programs for young people in schools, really coast to coast.
yeah, and
So
I
all the
think
money
they,
goes
yeah,
right
and
back
some of their
into
right,
communities.
and some of their other things like the red shoe and the light up the night thing and all that. I suspect that that 20% goes towards that as well. Like they're always working.
Oh, they're always working, absolutely. And they do a fantastic job. And
Yeah,
I'm so proud of really Royal LePage Realtors from the last conference, the Calgary conference, where we raised so much money
I missed that one.
during that lunch auction. That was absolutely incredible to be in that room and just seeing all the people step up, really during a year where real estate also wasn't very wonderful for
No,
many
no, not so
agents.
great.
But
Yeah,
we came together and we really set some records. So that was pretty incredible. And
yeah,
then through Rotary, we are quite successful of raising money in our Rotary Club, and all that money goes back into our community as well. So
yes.
through a lot of homeless programs and educational programs in our community. So that's
Supporting the community.
indirectly how how we fundraise money, right? But
Yeah.
personally, I support Shelter Foundation. So
Yeah, for sure. I was
yes, yeah,
disappointed in missing the Calgary one, but I had some personal stuff going on. And that was the first conference I'd missed since Whistler, which I think was somewhere around 2007, give or take a year. Like it could have been 2006 to 8. I can't remember, but it was the first conference I had missed. And luckily, a few of you guys were reaching out to me during that. And
yes.
I remember some people asked me, "Is this pissing you off?" And I was just like, "No, it's actually not. It's making me feel a little bit involved because I get videos from people at 2 a.m. and things, you know."
Yes,
They were doing their thing, but they wanted to share it, and it was nice to
share it with you.
snips a
Exactly.
little bit, but I definitely miss being there. So, oh well, it is what it is. I want to thank you today for doing this interview, you and George. Thank you for,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and hopefully I'll see you for our first small group ride on Thursday.
I think so. That would be fun. I have a dentist appointment in the morning, but I just got off the phone with Brad Sauvé, and I know he's going to Realtor Quest in the morning, but we're going to try and meet up for lunch somewhere in Hamilton. I think that
Yeah,
would be wonderful.
we got to
Yeah,
get somebody to make a decision where we're going. We'll have to shake Mike. I think he was the start of
I think
this. So
Mike was trying to plan it somewhere on Hess Street, I believe. Is what.
Harvey's got to give us a time and a location.
Yes.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should grab up
Harvey, if you're
Harv. Maybe I
listening,
should grab up Harv.
12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere on Hess Street.
So
That would
just
work out.
watch for bikes and pull
Yeah,
over.
look for bikes on Hess Street.
We'll just go. We'll just go.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, hopefully I'll see you Thursday. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thanks, Melanie.
I appreciate this.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.